Hey guys, and welcome to my last broadcast of 2018. This time we're going to play some Blitz, and as usual, I just wanted to ask you about the quality of the sound and the picture. What is interesting, if you could at least hear me and see me well, more or less, because I'm still using my old equipment. Nothing really changed compared to the previous show. So just let me know if you can hear me. We can hear you and see you, says better. That's fine. Thank you very much for this information. Let's start playing then. Let's start playing. So we have a couple of challenges already. And let's see if we have somebody I've never ever played before. Let's start with like several games. Okay, here is Bertus Maximus. Never played before, it says. I'm going to accept. And I'm playing with white pieces. So let's go. And what do we have here? We have Sicilian. And knight to c6, which means different things. So black can play e5 immediately or after knight to f6. e6 is another move. Another move was like knight f6 followed by d6. g6 is a possibility, so too many different options here. Knight to c3 and a6. Let's take the knight and put the bishop on d3. Something typical against a6. After e6 and bishop to b4. Okay, it's definitely a possibility. What about queen g4? Maybe black will react with knight to f6. So let's just castle first. I think this move cannot be bad, and bishop takes c3 is somewhat dubious to me. Because now, black should have serious problems with dark squares all around the board. So, queen g4, or just bishop to a3. Bishop to a3 looks like a natural move. After b takes c3, and now I can even put my bishop on d6, like blockading d7 pawn, which means this bishop on c8 will have some serious problems. Bishop to b7, not really a better position for the bishop compared to c8. Moreover, I have a tactical opportunity to force this bishop back to c8, because if queen goes to c8, I just take the knight. Rook to a7. Well, I can play bishop c5 now. I think it's just winning instantly, because if rook goes away, I just win a piece, no compensation. And if queen protects the rook, I do not take the rook, but I take on e7 first, and then come back to c5. So I'll have at least extra minor piece. So black's position is just collapsing. So extra minor piece now. After queen a8, rook a7 has no move, so in addition to extra minor piece, I'm just winning the exchange, which means I'll have extra rook after this capture. So it's basically over now. My only task now is not to blunder, say, something. But it's really hard to blunder here. Okay, let's just exchange everything here. I'm not against, since I'm having extra rook, so every exchange just helps. So takes on d7, rook is hanging. Now rook to b7 looks nice. Let's do it. So there is a threat of queen c8 and queen f7. Rook f8 is just forced. Another rook goes to b1. So what can I potentially blunder here is just a checkmate on the first rank, so I guess it's a good moment to actually make some prophylaxis, probably. E5 is hanging on the other hand. So I don't know what would be better. Let's just take the pawn. Queen takes c2. a2 is hanging, so let's just protect it. Rook on b1 is not hanging because it is protected by the rook from b7. So no worries here. Now let's say h4, just to have h2 square for king, just in case it matters. I think it doesn't, but still. Right, what about playing this move? It's a tricky one. It's a trap. Well, in fact, it's just a preparation of the exchange of queens. So now we just play rook to b8. And I want to exchange queens on e4. That was the whole point. King to h1 now. And after exchange of rooks, king goes to h7, queen e4, exchanges queens, simply. I don't want to calculate anything else because it is the easiest way to win the game. Like with extra rook. I'm curious why my opponent is still playing. It's really strange. I guess it was already a good time to resign, like 15 moves ago or something. Especially here, it's time. So Berta says, thanks for the game. Thank you as well. So, several mistakes. The first one was bishop to c3, I think. It was already a critical mistake because now you have amazing problem with dark squares. It's a typical thing for this type of opening. I mean, Sicilian with e6 and a6, making this light squared moves, you actually weaken your dark squares, and your dark squared bishop should stay on the board in the vast majority of cases. At least after bishop to a3, I guess it was very important to play at least d5 here. Yeah, it doesn't do anything to make dark squares better, to protect them better, but at least it prevents me from playing this bishop d6, where after well, at least one part of your camp is completely frozen. So look at this. Now it's really hard to do anything, okay? Everything is pinned. My bishop on d6 is just a monster controlling everything, and it's really hard to improve the bishop. So even if instead of bishop b7 you play a5, intending bishop to a6, I can ignore it. Like I can play, for instance, rook to b1, and after bishop to a6 I can play c4, so you will stay with this bad bishop anyway, which has no perspectives, while my bishop can be improved after, say, e4, e5, where after it will exert some pressure in this b1, h7 diagonal. It's not really lost already, but it's really close to that, I think, positionally. Bishop b7 is probably a decisive mistake. After that, I have this very important tempo attacking the bishop. Now, the only chance to save the material was to go back with the bishop to c8. I can imagine how awful it was. I mean, even to think about it. No surprises he decided to play rook a7, but unfortunately this loses the material after bishop c5. So, it's over now. Let's go further. Let's have a look at somebody else I've never played before. User 1234. I lost even one time, and we have played, so maybe we will play today a bit later. Big Boy RG, we have played many times, but unfortunately I don't see like, you know, a premium user logo next to your nickname. What happened? Okay, Onam we have played a lot. Yeah, here is another one we have never played before. Chris Gonzalez. Except. And I'm playing still with white pieces. Let's go. E4. E5. Knight F3. So, it's a Philidor, an open Philidor. Oh, and C5 now. That is something new to me. Never ever seen this before. So the drawback is obvious. Black weakens D6 and weakens D5 square. I think D5 is much more important than anything else here. It's a good question though where to go with the knight. So knight to B5 is possible, knight to F5, knight to F3. I think since we're going to fight for D5 square, it's a bit more logical to step back to E2. Although it may look a bit strange right now, but from here my knight can easily go to F4 and then to D5. Fighting for that square, because I want to occupy D5 with my pieces. Okay, can I just play G3, Bishop G2, this sort of thing? I think I can. Now I have even better control over D5. Bishop G4, I'm not sure. What happens after E5? Is it possible just to punish black tactically here? Like E5 takes, bishop takes B7, and I win an exchange. But then probably I will have some problems with light squares. Because, yeah, bishop will be missing and black's bishop is still on the board. So, don't want to do that. Although it was playable for white, I think. Okay, bishop goes there. Maybe I can even grab a bit more space. So now we can consider playing e5. I think now it's absolutely okay. Another option is just to play h4. One more option is just to play f4. f4 looks nice. Let's go. h6, alright. Now f5. Just burying the bishop there on h7. Yeah. And now e5, I think. Now it's absolutely safe since black's bishop is out of play, which means missing my bishop will be not a problem. Okay, minor piece. Extra minor piece for nothing. Yeah, it's just lost already for black. Knight to c6. Oh, I can play almost everything here now. Let's play queen takes d6. I think it's good. The point is, if queen goes away somewhere, I can take the bishop. Maybe it's not so simple because there is a threat of rook to d8 trapping my queen somehow. So we should be careful. So what can be played here? Maybe it was not the best idea, in fact. But I can also try some like bishop e3 now. Yeah, this is a possibility. Everything is perfectly protected. Everything is under control. Rook there, queen takes c5 now. Queen takes b2, rook to b1. Oh my goodness, look at this. I cannot really play that rook to b1. Wow, didn't realize that. I mean, it's not the only move, but I just didn't realize there is queen b1 and then rook to d1 checkmate. Wow. That's a surprise, huh? Alright. So rook to c1 then, or just rook takes h4, forgetting about that rook and just moving the king to f2. Rook to c1 is probably possible still, because if queen takes, then at least knight takes or bishop takes. In both cases, there is no rook d1. So, oh my god, that could have been a serious blunder because I was about to play rook to b1. Okay, let's put it on c1. Whew. That was pretty close. I mean, pretty close. That could have been just, you know, an amazing loss. Very pity one, because, you know, I have absolutely winning position. Now I can just take the bishop, right? It's just hanging, so let's take it. So 2 extra minor pieces and the 1 on h7 cannot be considered a piece. So but black should definitely play on because, you know, I have almost blundered. So there is a chance I'll do it again. Alright. Didn't know where to put this queen. Let's choose d4. Rook f8 was a bit better, but okay. So a lot of extra stuff. It's really hard to, you know, to be perfectly focused in such a situation because it's, come on. Too many pieces of mine are still on the board while black's pieces are melting move after move. Alright, so what's that? Just completely lost position for black. Still have to win it though, but come on. Okay, let's sacrifice one of them. I mean, it's not that important anymore. Now we have those clear objects of attack. After this rook h7, it's even easier to win the game. Alright, let's bring another rook to the party. It's a check, and another one to h7 should be a checkmate, right? That's my main threat, and I don't see a defense. What happened? King g8, okay, check. Another one to h7 and a checkmate. Alright, so too many blunders, my friend. Too many blunders. Too many blunders. And c5 in general is not very good, although it's not the move that loses the game. I think this maneuver of the bishop was pretty dubious here. There's bishop g4, h3, then bishop h5. After that, I have very simple play, like almost automatic. And your bishop will be there till the end of the game. I mean, whenever I play f5, it's over. It's not even about, you know, playing e4, e5 subsequently. It's about just, you know, forcing the bishop to h7 after f5. So now I am like have an extra minor piece. And in addition to that, of course, in this particular case, I have this very good e5. So if you take, I just take on d8, and then it doesn't matter how you recapture, just take on b7. And now it starts feeling like I'm having extra rook because I'm winning the exchange, but once again, your bishop is there on h7 for a long, long time. Probably forever. Okay. So, one more guy I've never ever played before. Let's search for. Okay, another Spanish player. That is 3 minutes, but okay. We should just play a bit faster. There is a risk though, because I'm quite, you know, quite slow these days. Okay, Scandinavian. It should be very exciting. Should be very exciting. So let's play faster. For now, we are just developing our pieces. Nothing new. Nothing new. Okay, g4. Let's play aggressive chess. Knights at e5. Fighting for space for some important squares and so on. Knight to c6. Okay. This looks pretty logical. Maybe I just missed something already because it doesn't feel like a very safe position to me. If I play bishop f4, there is capture on d4 with the queen, I believe. If I take on c6, then queen takes, attacking my bishop and my rook in h1, which is not good at all. So let's take the bishop. I don't see any other sensible move right now. Okay, so d4 should be protected, I guess. At least right now. Maybe knight to e2 is a bit more long, but then knight takes g4. Okay, this position is complicated. What if just g5 now? I know it's not good. I know. But if I play something like knight e2, for instance, there is a problem with the g4 hanging. So, and knight on h5 is not necessarily that great. It looks fine, of course, but it will be there for a long time, I believe. So let's just put our knight on. Should I do that like this or queen f3 first? Too many questions, and you know I'm doing everything in a really slow motion. It's really dangerous. So first queen goes to f3, just attacking f7. It's just a normal tempo move. Now I think I can play knight e2 or maybe bishop to e3. What is better? Knight e2, queen b4. Come on, it's just a blunder. So bishop b3 instead. This looks alright, more or less, because b7 is under pressure. At least I want to believe it's alright. I'm not entirely sure. So, let's see. f5. Oh my god. This is a huge weakening of the position. Let's just castle. Let's just forget about this pawn there and focus on our play. d5 doesn't work, unfortunately. So let's play a bit slowly, just controlling f4 for now. And overprotecting d4. That's fine. e6 is very weak, so if nothing good happens to me, I can even switch to the plan of like playing knight f4 at some point. Takes with the bishop, and spawn will be just a headache for black. Right. Okay. Bishop d2. So now we can improve our bishop this way, I suppose. This is kind of strange what I'm doing here. But the knight is hanging. The knight is hanging. Oh, that was a huge blunder. Check. Another blunder. Okay, no surprises. We're having just a severe time trouble, but still. Checkmate. Alright, that was just a crazy game. At some point, I believe I misplayed it heavily, and I had sort of good play at some point. So let's have a look at that. Yeah, somewhere here I started doing complete bullshit. So this c4 is probably not that bad in general, but so let me just refresh the page with my chat because I missed it during the game. Was too focused. So let's come back a bit. First of all, this f5. I don't like this f5 at all. I'm not sure what's going on after knight takes d4. That was very interesting move. And say if I take on d4, queen takes d4, then some like queen takes b7. A crazy position, but I think I'm fine here. Exactly in this situation, I should be okay. But after simple, say rook to d8, do I have anything? Like this is just one check, not more than that. So maybe something like rook d7. No, rook d7 and rook d1 may be annoying. Right, maybe king e7, but then, yeah, it's unclear. Even less clear is something like queen takes b7 immediately here, not even touching the knight. So knight takes c2 is possible, and then I say put my king on e2. This looks really strange. And my next move should be something like rook to d1, attacking the queen when the rook goes away. I have no idea what's going on here. But okay, definitely not f5, so I expected anything but f5. So maybe bishop e7 here was a move. Maybe even intending to castle short, since this knight is a good blockading piece, so it's not so simple for me to come up with the attack there. So maybe it deserves some attention. Maybe it was possible to improve black's play somewhere here, just not to put the knight on h5. So like knight d7, intending e6, and maybe then knight to b6. But this is always something risky because I have some like knight e4 attacking the queen. But it doesn't feel like at the moment I can do it because d4 is hanging, right? Right. So I have to protect it somehow. I mean, I believe black will have time to save the queen. So knight d7 followed by knight b6 looks a bit more logical to me than knight to h5. It feels very tempting, yeah, to blockade everything with this move, but then this knight is a bit misplaced. All right. Okay, and after all, it was very fast game. At some point, both sides started making not the best moves. It was just a mess. All right. Thank you very much for this game. Now let's get back to normal order of challenges. So the first was ShellingFord, and it will be like very hard now. Computer says he could have taken on d4 with the queen instead of defending his knight. Yeah, that's right. Queen d4 was great. That is interesting. Really. That was possible. Sure. So bishop on c4 was hanging, and if I take the queen, knight takes and c2 was hanging. Okay. That's correct. Okay. So, once again, Italian, just like 1 week ago or 2 weeks ago, I don't remember exactly. h3, bishop e6. So probably several weeks ago. I don't remember exactly when we played last time. But that was exactly this position. At least this line, okay? At least this line. So queen e8 is very typical when you played f takes e6. Knight to c4. Can I play b5 now? I'm just curious. just stopping white from this activity, at least immediate activity based on b4, b5. So for now, we are having like better development, right? So bishop is still on c1. Our queen is already in sort of play. So on e8, it's not doing much, but I'm going to play knight to h5, right? That was the point behind queen e8. And white just decided to go back. That's interesting. So let's go there. That was the plan anyway. So now we have different threats, like knight g3, knight f4. Knight f4 is the main idea behind knight h5, normally. King goes to h2. Okay. This means whenever knight goes away from f3, we can take on f2. What should be played next? What if just knight f4 anyway? Attacking d3 pawn. And exerting some pressure on g2 and h3, although the squares are protected for now. Now the question is, can I play queen h5? Looks like very natural, so let's try it. Let's just try it. So again, bunch of threats. The main is knight takes h3. Bishop takes f4. Now it's a question how to take. Rook f4 is just a normal capture, but then ab5, and my bishop is pinned, which is probably not that, bad. So let's take the rook. I hope it's not a blunder. d4. All right. Can I take the pawn? No, I think d5 will be very, very annoying. What if I just play this move? Rook a to f8, and if d5, just rook takes f3. Takes, h3 is hanging, so it looks very dangerous for white. But it maybe just not something really good for black, I don't know. I'm really not sure. It looks very tempting, so let's try it. Feels like a threat, actually. So too many pieces there around the king, so it would be really surprising if I cannot take on f3 here, really. Let's take. I don't believe in that. Simple as that. So let's just take here. And put the queen here. Should be sort of compensation for me. At the moment I'm down the exchange, but f2 is hanging at least. Maybe again it's just nothing and I miscalculated. Just misplayed it. So bishop f2 is one of the threats. It should be very annoying. Then queen g4. Oh my shit. Oh my goodness, it's so simple. Simply refute it. Can't believe in this. Still cannot believe in that, so. Oh, crap. That's really surprising and annoying. It felt so great for black, but then appeared nothing, in fact. Or maybe I'm just missed something simple, because I believe now it's just over. Very close to that. So I'm just down the rook. I don't see much of a compensation here. Yeah, just over. I'm very close to that. I don't know. I have a couple of pawns, but I don't think this pawns will help. Maybe no. To be honest, there is no compensation, but we have a time trouble, so maybe I will achieve something. Maybe I will somehow, try to survive it. I don't know. Like I have some psychological pressure here. I mean, it's obviously nothing, but it's pleasant, like to play this way. Yeah, but it's over now. Yeah, it's over now. My God, this is really annoying. I mean, how's that possible? Shit. Sorry for this swearing, but I cannot believe in that. So somewhere here, maybe I missed something. So rook h3 is probably already a mistake. Maybe rook takes f3 is just, it's not correct. Yeah, do know. Have no idea. Well, another interesting possibility is just to take on d4 here, but it's not in the spirit of this position. The normal option was, to avoid all these problems, just to take, like, e takes f4, but this is also against all the principles there. Well, I don't know. Maybe I overestimated my attack altogether and, should have played something like b takes a4 here. Why didn't I even consider this move, by the way? So rook takes a4, then knight e4 doesn't work. Okay, this is just all complete bullshit. So to avoid all these complications, obviously you can always play something like knight e7 in this position. So overprotecting b5, still keeping the queen on e8, and so forth. Then bring the knight to g6 at the right moment. So now, for example, something like this shouldn't be that dangerous. It takes, and like if d4, first of all, there is no d5 threat, right? And there is no real pin. So if I want, I can even take on d4, and so forth. I can play knight g6. So black is okay here, having the bishop. Yeah, that's fantastic. So goes there, queen h5, bishop takes, then d4. Alright, I could have played rook f4 to f8, just to, again, avoid the complications, because d5 is, well, in this particular situation, it's not very dangerous, I believe. So just knight e7, and if d takes e6, I can attack the pawn immediately, like queen g6, and everything is under control. Black should be even better in this position. Yeah, I was too, tempted by this rook takes f3 idea that I forgot about. Just common sense. Yeah, rook just back to f8 is good enough for black. Black is fine. Having the bishop, having still this open f file. If d takes c5, then knight takes c5. I'm controlling everything. Yeah, alright. Thanks for the game anyway. Computer says h2 instead of g2 was draw at the end. Oh, come on. That was just, just a mess already. White could have finished me many moves before that. Yeah. Alright. Superbohemio is the next. Accept. Oh, Jesus. Oh, once again, this thing. Okay, let's try c5. I mean, I'm a bit tired of playing against e4 followed by f3 gambit. So let's try to play something else. I mean, it's of course a better thing for white to have something like this. Instead of sacrificing the pawn, white is not sacrificing anything. But it's also an interesting position to play with black. So now we have pair of bishops, although the pawn structure is bad, but it starts resembling Sicilian positions from, for example, Richter-Rauser attack, something like that. So they are usually pretty playable for black. Of course, you have to be an expert there, but all right. Let's forget about it. White's queen is a bit misplaced for that type of positions, and the knight is not on d4, which should be sort of advantage for black compared to that positions, the classic Sicilian version of these things. Should I play e6 here? Just curious. I tend to play some stupid moves tonight, so I'm no longer sure what is right and what is wrong. King to b1 was played, okay. Should I play b4 immediately? I guess to e2 after that. Okay, don't know. Again, let's just keep on developing pieces. b5 has another interesting idea behind it, just to control c4 to prevent bishop from going there. Now I think e6 is the right move, preventing knight to d5. Otherwise it may become really bad for black. So let's make this move. Then bishop will go to e7 most likely. And just Sicilian, like many years ago when I was a kid. I used to play Sicilian with black. Now a big question, to take on d4 just to play knight to e5. Normally, queen on e5 should be placed at some point. So knight to e5, f e6, f e6, queen takes f6, and like bishop g7. We should have some compensation for that pawn, but that's unclear. And the king becomes very open. Yeah, it may be very, very dangerous for black. Yeah, let's just take on d4 and play rook to c8. If white now takes on f6, then bishop g7, and we take on c3. The question from Peter, f6 will be hanging. Yeah, f6 will be hanging, but I'm not really against sacrificing that pawn, because in that case I can activate my dark squared bishop. That's the main idea. So, yeah, we lose a pawn, but this pawn is a great limitation of my bishop. Without that pawn, my bishop will feel much better. It doesn't mean black has to sacrifice that pawn to activate the bishop. There is always this maneuver through d8 to b6, but it takes time, obviously. Can I play d5? Just curious. The idea of bishop c5. It cannot be correct. There is definitely some sort of punishment for this shit. But at very first glance, it looks playable. F takes c6, my main concern there. Maybe just b4 first. Kicking the knight away. Where the knight goes after b4? To e2 most likely. Which is very bad position for it. And now I think we can consider playing d5. Or maybe just e5 first and then d5. Also a possibility. Rook to g4 is another move. Oh, too many good moves here for black. To know which one to choose. Not good moves, but good looking moves, I would say. Okay, let's try d5. After all, we have bishops. What I want to do is just, I want to activate them. That's it. That's all I want in this position. I know. It's too risky and probably cannot be justified, but let's give it a try. Bishop. Now at some point we have some pressure against a2. I hope it will be something. After ed5, I'm just debating between rook g4 immediately or bishop c5 first and then rook to g4. I have no idea what should be the right move. And another one is bishop to f5, of course. Creating a threat to c2 pawn. I guess I will opt for this move. It's also a tempo move. c2 is hanging and bishop c5 is still a threat. After queen... Oh, come on. That is so stupid blunder. Now that goes to d4, of course. Yeah, baby, that's just terrible. Yeah, that is what happens when you try to be smarter than you are. You're just losing in a terrible style. Look at this. Knight is going to d4. And it's just over. It's just a positional disaster for black. Oh. Yeah. Something terrible is happening tonight, guys. I'm just playing like a complete idiot. Only a miracle can help now. Queen f5 is another threat. Oh my goodness. Oh, what's going on? Yeah. As I said, just a miracle. Just a miracle. Miracle helped. It was so lost. I mean, you cannot even imagine how lost it was after bishop f5. It was so terrible move. My god. That's just, yeah. Just amazing. I mean, the whole idea is bullshit, I understand, but bishop f5, come on, giving white time to play queen e3 and then knight e4 is just a super patzer style. Alright, so what was the right move here, if there is the one? So let's say bishop c5 looked at least something. Alright. I guess queen f6 then. It's just finishing black. Yeah. It's just over. I can take on g1, but then d takes e6, come on. My pieces are just completely misplaced. Yeah, white should be winning here easily. Alright, bishop c5 is not a move then. Maybe there is simply no move. Rook g4 was another idea of mine, but I don't think it works either. Let's say... Okay, let's check queen f6 first. Should be just good enough for white. Yeah, it's just over. I mean, my pieces are not ready for this sort of activity. They're simply not ready. So if I play bishop d5, then queen e5 decides. So check, and then takes on d5. Because I don't have bishop e6, my queen on a5 is hanging. So if bishop g7, say, yeah, a couple of tempo moves, no questions, but then just queen f3, so what? I'm just lost here. Simple. Knight to c1 if necessary to overprotect a2. Alright. So d5 was just very bad. After knight e2, I think black is okay. But d5 obviously makes black's position almost lost. So what to do instead? Well, almost everything is looking good. Including e5, by the way. It looks terrible because it weakens d5, but pay attention that we have played b4, kicking the knight away from that square, and it is basically the only piece we should be afraid of occupying d5. So, after e5, for instance, queen d5, I can just take it, right? After rook d5, bishop c6, and black is better. Much better, I mean. So, if queen goes somewhere else, where? The question is where. So let's say queen e3. I can also play it slow, like, h5 first. Just being ready to play h4 if the knight goes to g3. And then I will just exert pressure on e4 pawn gradually. Like bishop c6, maybe rook g4 if white gives me such a chance. Queen at some point goes away, maybe through c7 to b7, and then at some point d5 again, if it is possible. Yeah, so looks terrible at first glance, but since the knight cannot really get to d5 easily, it's okay to weaken this square. We have a lot of resources to protect it. So what e5 really does, first of all, it controls f4 and d4, limiting the knight on e2. Second of all, after e5, white cannot really open the position, and my king feels all right in the center hands. So that was a move. Another possibility, which is a bit different, I think, just to play queen to c5. Also, I'm controlling dark squares. I'm fine here. I mean, queen f6, bishop g7 looks good. Oh, sorry, c2 is hanging, so white is forced to do something. Either exchange queens or maybe step back to a passive position with a queen. In both cases, I'm completely satisfied with the thing. As for white, white could have played it better, I believe. So here, first of all, since I didn't play b5, I think it was interesting to try something like bishop to c4 first. So developing the bishop, most likely creating some direct threats, I'm not sure. But even if there is nothing connected with bishop takes f7, then simple bishop to b3 next move will be just good enough. And bishop will be way better than on f1. And I don't think white has to think even of rook takes g2, because after rook g1 takes, well, I'm just not developed. Absolutely, and the rook is coming to g8 or something like that. So it looks just terrible. Something like rook to d5 probably was not that great. Yeah, another idea after bishop c4 is just to put the knight on d5, by the way. If e6, then f6 drops. I mean, after knight e5. So maybe I have to play e6 right now. But once again, after f5, it's another story, you know. There are too many threats. Like queen h5, maybe, especially if I play b5, let's say, bishop goes to b3, there is no connection between my queen and h5 squares, so maybe something like f takes c6 and queen h5 is a threat. So no, position quickly becomes very interesting and dynamic, and this means good for white, because white is completely developed, and black is still thinking of how to complete the development. Okay? Don G joined the show. That's amazing. Thank you for doing that. All right. Thanks for the game. Let's continue. User 1234, the guy who beat me already. We have to be very careful. And fast. D4 this time. As far as I remember, our first game was like E4, I suppose. But no, it was the same, I think. It was also a closed game. And bishop f4. All right. So let's just try some normal chess. I mean, first completing a development, then thinking of something else. For instance, now, can I just, grab that bishop with knight to h5 move? So bishop e5, d6, bishop g3, I just grab it. Okay, let's do it. Let's go for that bishop. Knight takes g3. Now just d6. Knight goes to d2 now. I think f5 should be logical. Stopping immediate e4 and fixing the pawn on g3 as well. Question, how did this guy beat you? Well, gradually he was playing normal chess. And I blundered the rook, if I'm not mistaken, at some point. in an equal position. I've just blundered the rook. Simply forgetting about the pin or something, which happens obviously to everyone at some point. Alving says, reminds me of some old Elohim games. Yeah. Here's the question, who is Elohim in this particular case? Let's exert some pressure on d4, making white kind of think twice before playing e4. Rook to e1. Okay. So what if knight f6? Is it a good move? Or bishop f6 should be played instead, exerting even more pressure on that pawn. Or maybe just rook to c8. Let's start with the rook c8. b3. Alright. Now I feel like playing this move. Pinning the pawn d4, and also like stopping white from playing e4, at least for now. Let's start with the g6. I know that g5, g4 is something that everybody expects in this pawn structure, but I don't feel like I'm ready to do that right now. Too many weaknesses, so I want to improve my pieces first. Maybe to put the bishop on g7, then to put my knight on f6, maybe even to g4, and then to see what's going on. There is a chance I will try something else entirely. Maybe since my pawn f5 is already overprotected, I can think of playing e6, e5. I decided to play e4 anyway. So d4 can be captured now. So let's do it. If e takes f5, I will recapture with the e6. It looks like an extra pawn here. And my bishops start feeling much better. His position gets more and more open, I suppose. I feel like very tired. I don't know. Just 2 days ago, I had a nice experience. I've been playing to Falco Bindrich here in Chess 24. We played like 10 games. The score was 5-5. So a draw. I mean, I was way faster than tonight. I felt much better. Today, I'm like completely out of my mind. Don't know. What's that? So, I don't think white has a compensation for it, so let's just go in h8. I don't quite understand what white is going to do. So h7 is my most vulnerable spot, but how to attack it? Okay, that goes to e4. d6 is hanging. One thing I can do is just, capture the knight. Rook e4, knight c5. Rook g4, I suppose. Queen d7. Just simplifying the things quickly. Maybe it's the best thing to do here. I mean, why should we play anything else? H4 is controlled, so if white wants to keep the rook active, G4 is the only square to consider. And just queen d7, I suppose. Just exchanging queens and then converting extra minor piece. Should be good enough. Maybe there is a better way. Maybe I should try to save the pawn on the board. Maybe d3 is a better choice here. So I still don't see that white is threatening anything. So knight g5. Just one move threat, I guess. So I can play queen d7 anyway. Well, let's try d3. Let's try to save the pawn on the board. If b4, then queen d7, queen takes d7, knight d7, and if rook d3, then knight e5. It's a different story. I mean, why cannot take on d4 with the knight in that case? And my d6 will not drop. That's the whole point. Compared to queen d7 immediately, in which case after queen d7, knight e7, knight e4, it was not entirely clear to me. Okay, now I can play this. Queen to d7 anyway, attacking the rook on g4. And maybe just bringing this queen to e6 next. Oh. Let's take it. Let's just take it. And queen e6. And queen e5 even. g6 is controlled, so it's a safe square. Let's put the rook on g8. And another one to effect. g6 is still controlled. Twice. Yeah. Lost now. Not bad in the conversion. Okay. That was a revenge. So I guess somewhere in the opening there was a good chance for white to avoid all this thing. Maybe somewhere here. Yeah, after bishop e7 especially. Just play h3. I think it's a safe thing. Because you want to have this bishop on the board for sure. It will be very useful, especially if black starts opening the situation in the center at some point, playing like d7, d5, c7, c5. This bishop on this h2b8 diagonal will be very valuable. So giving it up for the knight at so early stage is not very good practice. So bishop e2 here, yeah, now I'm just grabbing the bishop. Yeah, so already here black is slightly better in my opinion, slightly. Practically, maybe the engine says it's just anyway equal, but look, I have a better pawn structure and I have a pair of bishops. It is already long-term advantages, right? So yeah, somewhere here I was very happy with my position. I'm just controlling everything, and I can gradually improve my position, while white is actually struggling to find a good plan. At least it felt like that on my end, you know. So h3 is my recommendation, just to save the bishop on the board. Let's go further. Petter is next, so accept. Let's try knight to f3. I don't remember exactly what I played against Petter last time. I think it was e4. The thing I usually play. So this is a very, very old line of Reti opening. So my threat now is just to play knight b5 and then d4. It may easily not transpose, but actually transform into Scandinavian, or, you know, something that resembles Caro-Kann pawn structure. So this queen will be attacked with the bishop next move. It's no longer considered dangerous for black, but knight h6, as far as I remember, is the best move. With the idea of bringing the knight to f5. Yeah, and here, should I play d4 or... I don't know. So let's just play d4. And somehow we have, you know, something very similar to Scandinavian. G4, H4 is probably not that great right now. So I will prefer some like bishop e2. But after knight f6, maybe I can consider like g4, h4. And then g5. No, I still don't control e4 that good. So let's just castle. That's fine. So white should be just slightly better here, I believe. Slightly. Just a tiny edge. h6, overcautious. a3, preparing b4, b5. Let's do it. Anyway, it's the best plan I have in this position. So queen to b3, rook to d1, let's say, may be considered the next couple of moves. Although, if I play queen b3 immediately, there is some like knight to g4, potentially. So that's prevented as well. It's a bit slow, but it's fine. We're not in a rush in this position. The only problem in my position is my bishop on e3. It's really passive for now. But there's not that much I can do about that bishop. Somebody has to protect d4, right? Somebody has to. Now it's time to continue with this centralization, but we have to be careful because at some point, black may consider playing something like b7, b5. So we should be ready for it. But for now, I don't think b5 was a threat, so I decided to put the rook on d1. Once b5 is a threat, I am going to play a4. So we're just gradually grabbing the space, so on and so forth. Yeah, let's go there. So is it a threat now? So black plays b5, ab5, ab5, cb5, cb5. Yeah, it's no longer that great for white, but I can always react with the c5, and if knight e5, then just knight takes d5, ed5. Black should be fine there. Maybe c5 right now, but then knight goes to d5. What about g3? Like preparing bishop to f4. So whenever there is a pawn on c5, I mean, bishop f4 may become very annoying. If black plays bishop d6 right now, it's very tempting, of course, to play c5. But there is bishop takes g3, so maybe I would have reacted just like after bishop f5 with the king g2 move. Protecting h3, protecting g3 as well. So now if bishop d6, let's say I just play c5, bishop goes back to e7, then bishop f4 wins the exchange. Okay. Okay, e5, is it really possible? What if I just take? Bishop f4 should win the material, or I'm blundering something. I don't think so. And now I can even try g4 if I want to save h3 pawn on the board. Should I do that or just, just bishop b8? Good question. Let's see. What if g4 knight takes g4? Looks like a bluff, simply. Okay, let's just play g4. What happened? Bishop h7 was played. Come on, I just forgot about it. Now rook e1 looks very strong. Bishop e7 is another target. I would be happy to attack. Okay. Another move that centralizes the things. Looks just terrible for black. Honestly. So extra exchange. And I think something that looks like a complete control over a position. Entire control. And like sort of simplification. Right. Queen should be on e3, protecting everything. Okay, knight is going to where? To e5, right? So let it happen. Let it happen. I won a lot of time with this queen e8 move. But black anyway. What's going on? I'm just taking it. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. So I was about to checkmate black with king g6, queen f7, queen h7. So it's, yeah. This typical thing happened, in fact. So black somehow didn't find active plans. So as I said before here, knight to h6 is very strong. So if white takes here, then after g takes h6, black is in full control here. Pair of bishops, this bishop goes to g7. So dark squares are weakened after c4 and d3, right? So if I don't take it and put my bishop on e3, just like in a game, after, say, queen d8, d4, you have very nice f5 square, let's say. And again, you grab my bishop because I don't have a chance to go away because d4 is hidden. So that is actually the refutation of this old line. It no longer works that well for white. So at least, maybe I missed something, but many years ago, I mean, when I was much more active player as I am nowadays, I've been playing numerous games against Roman Ovechkin on Play Chess, and he actually, played it for the first time in my life against me, and actually he was pretty convincing in those games. There were a lot of draws. Some of them I lost, some of them I won. But anyway, I didn't have anything after the opening in each and every game against him. All right, so knight h6 was interesting. Cobra, accept. Let's play something entirely different. Knight to d7. Let's prevent e5. It's like the Dutch or improved version of Queen's Indian reversed. So we're having some extra tempi here, which probably we can play in a bit more active fashion. Can we try g4 here, or is it just too much? I think it's too much, right? Yeah, it's too much. Let's just play g3 instead. And put the bishop on g2. Okay, knight to d2. Now, where to put the queen on c2 or e2? e2, I think, because e3 is weak. We have to check bc4, dc4, dc4, knight c4. Looks okay, so we're fine. We can do that. And now, by the way, we can try something active here in the center, maybe. Something like e4, let's say. Looks pretty promising, but then d4 happens. Not that great. g4, knight takes 0. It's still not that well prepared. So h3 and then g4. Looks like very artificial something. Let's try it anyway. Bishop b7. Okay, g4 anyway. Whenever I try to play games like this, where I don't castle, I get crushed, says June Ferdinand. As you can see, I'm ready to castle at any moment. That's the thing. I'm not castled yet, that's right, but I control the situation in the center so that black cannot really punish me for that. And I'm ready to castle at any moment. I'm just thinking of where it would be better. Long side or short side? Obviously, I weakened my position a bit. So now g3 is a big weakness. And black can exploit it immediately, like playing knight e4. There's probably something I missed. I have a feeling I will have to sacrifice an exchange after that. Yeah, because I don't see a good way to cover g3. Not making my position worse, actually. So, what if we just castle now? Castle long, I mean. I guess to g3, then we play, say, queen to d2. Knight takes h1. Bishop takes h1. Knight from d7 goes away somewhere. Queen goes to c3, attacking g7 and the queen on d8. There may be something, by the way. There may be something. So, let's try it. Let's try it. Anyway, I don't see anything better for white for now. So knight g3, queen d2, knight takes h1, queen takes d7. I don't think it is better because knight easily gets through f2 or g3 back to e4. I will have no compensation there. Yeah, I think after knight g3, I'm just... Okay, well, I decide not to play that at all. Which should be a portion of good news to me. So let's just put our queen on c2 now, preventing this knight g3. I mean, knight g3 can be played, obviously, but it no longer wins anything. So after the game, I will show you what I wanted to play, and I'm also curious if it was anything for white. Now bishop f6. Okay. Feels like there should be already something tactical. Knight goes to e5, say. Bishop takes e5, right. Rook takes d7, queen takes d7, then knight e5. Say bishop e5, knight e5, queen d5, rook to d1, then takes on e4. I think rook d7, queen d7, knight e5 should give me like 2 minor pieces against the rook. Let's try it. Maybe I'm blundering something, but it feels like that. Maybe it's just a big blunder. But for now, it doesn't look like that. It looks like I'm fine. I'm just exchanging my rook for 2 minor pieces. Should be considered a good exchange for white. There's another interesting comment from Shelling. Knight g3, queen c2, knight h1, knight fe5 may have been interesting. Yeah, that was an interesting thing. Just to try to use this d file and this penal on the d file. That's correct. Nice fact, if queen d5, then rook d1 and queen is trapped on d5. If queen somewhere else, I'm just taking on e4. That's what I wanted to have. And c4 is still controlled. Sufficiently. I mean, 3 times. Which means I can just blockade c5. There is no danger on a queen side hence. That's a question. Should I play rook d1 or g5? I think g5 is logical. So just g5 trying to open up diagonal a1, h8 for my bishop. Once it's done, should be strategically winning for white. Yeah, like queen e5. Or I'm just overestimating my position again. I don't know. Should be gradually winning, right? Queen b7, I expected that move. This is also not bad. And this is a blunder already. Probably a decisive one. So what is this? Bishop g7. Oh, I don't need that. Let's just play simple chess. Knight e5 was a fork. Knight d6 eventually. Knight d6. At which point? I missed something simple, right? I missed something simple somewhere here. Oh yeah, here in knight d6. Yeah, knight d6 was very strong. Followed by knight f7. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It was just you know, just over immediately. Absolutely right. I also thought of bishop g7 or something. Alright, a bit later, Petter says there was 95. Oh yeah, true. 95 was just a fork. Alright, I was absolutely not focused after I actually managed to win 2 minor pieces and played g5. Maybe it was wrong. Let's have a look at knight g3 moment. That was probably the most interesting one. So I castled, then knight g3 was possible. What I was initially thinking of was this queen d2, knight takes h1, now bishop takes h1, knight on d7 is heading, and I'm going like to put the queen on c3 next move, especially after something like knight f6, it looked interesting. So it's a tempo move. Knight is now pinned to f6 because g7 is heading, and I want to play g5 next move. I thought this may be quite annoying for black. Moreover, there is no good square for a queen right now. If queen c7, bishop e5. So maybe queen c8 then. Oh, sorry, bishop e5 is not possible because my queen is already here. So queen c7 is okay. All right. So now I wanted to play g5 and then knight h5. Yeah, it's unclear. It's unclear. Possibly I have some compensation here, but it's not something, you know. Great. I don't think so. Okay, so maybe the recommendation of Schelling was the best one. So just to put the queen on c2 immediately. But here I thought bishop e4 may be a bit annoying. I was not sure what to do after bishop e4, in fact. That's why probably I didn't really like the idea of queen c2, because after bishop e4, if I play, say, queen c3 right now, there's bishop f6. Again, another tempo move. Maybe I'm missing something, but don't know. But the point of Schelling was that if knight takes h1, then this knight jumps to e5, and this, yeah, looks hell interesting. So we're down the rook right now, but it's not an h1 is hanging, and knight on d7 is hanging, and our pieces are super active. So there should be compensation, I guess. Maybe there is some like knight takes c5, of course. Still not sure. But I think bishop e4 is stronger than immediate capture in h1. Alright, so everything says knight takes h1. Sorry, knight goes to g3 was the best option for me. Was the most interesting, the most principled, and probably the best and the only move. Because if you don't do that, well, white is having just better pawn structure, having more space, and doesn't feel like black is doing all right here. White is somehow faster. All right, guys. Thank you for being with me. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. It was the last broadcast of mine in this 2018. I will be very happy to see you again next year. So it should happen most likely in 2 weeks from now. I'm not sure. Anyway, you will be notified. Once again, all the best. Try to become better players this coming year. Try to understand the game better. And I will be happy to help. See you guys. Bye-bye.